Hey there, it's Shauna. I hope you're doing great. This is your weekly astrology forecast for the week of October 17th. And this week is all about relationship integration. So I'm excited to share with you why. I have a few tips for you to really use this energy, and then a few things to watch out for as well. So this week is all about relationship integration because we're in the Libran lunar cycle. So we're in the relationship-ish kind of lunar cycle, and we're in the waning phase of this cycle. So this means that since we had our full moon in Aries on Saturday, October 15th, we're like disseminating, letting go, releasing. The energy is moving down and in, so to speak, metaphorically. So the moon is appearing to become smaller and smaller in the sky, and the energy again is being drawn inward more. It's more contemplative and it's more reflective. That being said, we have some dynamic energy that's happening this week as well, and it's like the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle in a more long-term kind of way. So this energy that I'm speaking of is Mars and Pluto coming together. So Mars is the planet of aggression and asserting yourself, and it's the drive to express yourself and to take up space in the world. It's a very fiery kind of energy. It's a warrior kind of energy. So this planet, this energy, is meeting up with Pluto. And Pluto is the planet of unearthing unconscious material. It's the planet of karma and healing deep wounds as well. Plutonian energy is not for the faint of heart. It can feel intense but incredibly rejuvenating, and it amps up creative energy. It amps up sexual energy, which is also creative energy. So Mars and Pluto coming together this week, it's on a bigger picture, it's the end of a cycle and it's the beginning of a new one. So when planets come together like this, it's called a conjunction. And so when this happens, it's like a new moon, but on a more long-term kind of scale. So Pluto and Mars coming together this week, it's ending the cycle that started around November 2014. So again, longer term, bigger picture, this means it's more subtle. So it would just be interesting to reflect on what was happening in your life around late October to early November 2014. The exact conjunction was November 10th, 2014, if you really want to get geeky on it. So it would just be interesting to look back and to see in what areas there were issues or what kind of things were happening around your ability to assert yourself, power struggle kind of issues, creativity, sexual issues as well, and anything where you were asserting yourself in a powerful way, or where someone was asserting themselves onto you and you had to do battle with that, so to speak. So that's important this week because it's closing that cycle. So something, even at a subtle level, happened around that time, around November 2014, and we're closing the loop with it because the planets have come back around to the same point. They're meeting up again and they're saying, hey, all right, we did that. We did all of that mess or all of that awesome stuff, whatever happened in fall of 2014, and it's a time of letting go of those things and then starting something fresh, starting something new. And that's very personal. That is very individual. So there are all of these themes that we can connect with collectively, this energy of power and asserting yourself and managing your power in a conscious way, being a good steward of your power. And again, that will manifest in many different ways, but that's the common vibe. So that's happening this week. And the other thing that's happening this week is that we have the last quarter square of the moon, and that's on Saturday. And so the last quarter square of the moon, it's about reconciling things, and it's a time of getting ready for the next lunar cycle. So I see this again this whole week of very much like letting go of certain things and getting ready to bring something new in. And particularly around relationships and how it is that you use your power, how it is that you use your will and your conviction. We all have this certain sense of power and influence. And I think that this is a week of reconciling the best way to do that, the best way to use your influence. Pluto energy is very much related to how it is that you influence the collective, how it is that you influence someone that you may never meet, and your ability to do that, which is really cool. So I have 3 tips for you to manage through this energy this week. The first one is to be really honest with yourself. Be brutally honest with yourself. And particularly if there's an area that is challenging for you right now, if there's a relationship or a situation, or you're just in a place in your life where something is hard, I want you to really be brutally honest with yourself on what it is that you want. What do you really fucking want in this situation? And I say this because Mars is what you want, and Pluto is all about brutal honesty. It's about getting into like the unconscious realm. If you look at when tarot readers do a tarot reading, they'll do like this spread, and it's like a bunch of different cards, and it's called the Celtic Cross. And what's interesting is some of the cards are what you're consciously aware of, and then some of the cards are what your subconscious is wanting. And that's why tarot is such a cool tool, just like astrology, because it points to the things that you didn't even know that you know. So maybe interesting, again, that's why it's interesting to look back to what was happening around October, November 2014 to get more insight into that, because things are always so much more clear in retrospect, right? So that's number 1. Be brutally fucking honest with yourself. What do you really want? That's number 2 is, especially this weekend, be very compassionate with yourself. Lots of self-care. And I want you to decide today, even if you're watching this midweek, decide today what it is that you need in order to soothe yourself. What do you need to make it through a challenging situation, whether that is taking a walk after you get off work, or taking your shoes off and putting your feet in the grass in the middle of the day, or just going in the bathroom and hiding out and taking a few minutes to breathe. Whatever it is that you need, eating ice cream, whatever, no judgment, okay? But something, that's number 2, is something to soothe yourself, because that's going to help you this week. That's going to help you make better decisions this week. And the third thing is to practice empathy. And this is so important whenever Plutonian energy is involved, because there can be the shadow side of Pluto is to lash out, or to be angry, or to judge someone else. And the antidote for that is empathy. If you follow Brené Brown at all, she talks a lot about this, how empathy is the antidote to shame and guilt. So this week, if you're having an issue with someone, put yourself in their shoes and see if you can at least understand where they're coming from. This does not mean that you need to make excuses for people's bad behavior if they're treating you poorly, but it means the empathy thing, it helps you deal with it a little bit easier. It takes the emotional charge out of the situation. So be brutally honest with yourself, self-care, and practice empathy. Those are the 3 things that I would suggest for you this week, my friend. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I'm wishing you an amazing week and sending you lots of love. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with a friend. I love getting these messages out to as many people as possible. And leave me a comment or send me a note. Let me know how you're doing. I always love connecting with you guys in that way. So wishing you an amazing week, and I will talk to you soon. Namaste. Mwah.